think that I'm going to hiding somewhere by a gated star. Baby, they ain't never gonna find me. I'm a renegade. I could be the one who saved you from this hard place. We could be as one and we'll escape. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside me. Take away the pain, we can go insane. I can feel it, it burns inside me. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside me. Take away the pain, we can go insane. Trust me, I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Yeah, I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Oh, I won't let you down. We could have the world to ourselves.
Hi everyone. I'm here to share a really special journal with you guys. I made this for our youngest daughter, Sarah Isabel. We call her Izzy most of the time. And she's in school in a program in the engineering college to major in both biomedical engineering and chemical engineering, which is fairly ambitious and unheard of to do at the same time, but she's doing it and running circles around it. She has put together her own program because she wants to become a doctor and research and work in the field of prosthetics and robotics for limbs for people and all sorts of just amazing, amazing things. And she is also my biggest cheerleader for all of my craft endeavors. If you've ever been a customer of mine with a question or somebody on Facebook and wondered why I answer so quick and I always seem to be right there, it's usually because I have my phone with me because I'm chatting throughout the day with Izzy between her courses, and we are best friends. I usually know what she's had for breakfast, and she knows what I'm cooking for dinner, or Kag is cooking for dinner. We have a wonderful relationship, so I'm just so happy to be able to put something different together for her, and this is what I've done. The outside cover is Lurex sari silk borders that I have gotten from my favorite wonderful shop, Victorian Gypsy Girl on Etsy, and I've taken these sari strips with the gold borders stitched in them and ironed them and pieced them together for the cover of this hardcover journal. I named it Beautiful Engineering, and it has a very heavy, chunky, detachable charm dangle with all kinds of scientific beads, and there's a microscope, and there's the atom. Might be easier to see against the white. I got all set up to video and the clouds came in. I'm pretty convinced I control the weather at this point because all it takes is for me to set my video equipment up and we have clouds. So let me see if I can just zoom you in a bit. It's still a bit of a glare, but there's the beakers and the, I guess, is it a molecule or an atom? She'll tell me. She'll correct me when she sees this. And there's a microscope, and these are little books, and on the edges it says math, science, history. I'll get you in frame there. And another beaker and another atom at the bottom. So I made that with a with a bulldog clip, just to clip right on the spine. And this is so heavy, I'm just going to set this to the side. I made this with a clip so that she could also put it on a backpack or a bag or something different if she wanted to bring it out and about without the whole journal. Okay, let me get you back in frame here. I was so happy when I was going through these silk trims and I found the elephants and the rest of this marching band of elephants. The rest of it I actually put on another project for Izzy that I will show you when it's finished and after she's got possession of it. But the silk piecing goes all the way around. And then, of course, I used some of the sari for the ties here. I just love the way this is a magenta burgundy color, but the frays out the side are the same purple as the other strip. It just accents so well. Yeah, it's one of the things I love about getting these skeins of sari from that Etsy shop is I open them up and I start taking the colors apart strip by strip and ironing them, and there's always surprises and delights inside of the most amazing designs. So this is hardcovered. It's 9 by 5 by 2, and I put the muslin tabs on the top because it was so busy everywhere else. It's really a heavy book. I actually couldn't fit everything I made to go in it, and I'm going to have to give it to her separately. So inside on the front cover, this is my Izzy. This is her first doctor's lab coat that she got when she got to school, and they embroidered their names on it and had them ready for the kids to use the first time they did rounds at the hospital. So that was an exciting day. And that was her freshman year. This past semester when she was in the lab just after doing surgery, and she texts me pictures of really exciting but graphic things, which is usually okay unless I'm in the kitchen or not prepared for it. But she was so happy, and she's working in clinical trials, so there's lots of little neat pictures she sends here and there, and I just love that one. She was so happy that she was working with what she was that day. So on the inside front page, the dashboard page, I've got Nikola Tesla looking like he's studying his books pretty hard, and I've got some sari strip and back with some extra stitching in it. I love this quote by Isaac Asimov. He's one of my favorite authors. "Science can amuse and fascinate us all, but it is engineering that changes the world." I'm just going to reach around and get my glasses so I can actually read you some of what's in this journal. This paper is almost blank except for some lines on this side, and there's grid paper on this side, and it's known as engineering paper. And for us crafters, I was very excited the first time I saw it. I thought, oh, I could tea dye it. This stuff is so expensive, and the engineering professors insist that they hand their work in on this. It's about quadruple the price of expensive graph paper or ledger paper. So what I've done through this journal is Sarah and I love puns, really corny puns. So I have printed off quite a few: engineering, physics, chemistry, all of the areas that she works in. And I have found puns in each of these areas and printed them and put them in much of this book. And I will try not to make you groan too hard. I'll only read you the best. But what do you call an acid with an attitude? Amino acid. So there's quotes throughout. There's beads in each signature that I made into charms that are on the lace. Schrodinger's cat walks into a bar and doesn't. Now, what does a photon say if the bellboy asks if he needs any help with his luggage? No thanks, I'm traveling light. Yeah, you get the picture. So This is Madame Curie, Marie Curie, and her husband Pierre, and this is them working in the laboratory. Quotes by engineers: Buckminster Fuller, Henry Royce, who was the founder of Rolls-Royce. I loved that I found washi from Tim Holtz that had little things that said chemist here and there, and things that related to the whole theme of this. I love this. A seminar on time travel will be held 2 weeks ago. It's so bad it's good. And I've got some sorry silk tabs through here. What did one tectonic plate say to the other when they bumped into one another? Sorry, that was my fault. Claude Bernard, he's the father of modern physiology, is what they call him. And I guess back when surgery was a novel thing and they were figuring out how it all worked. These are symbols of circuits. They have to do electrical engineering. As a matter of fact, Sarah is minoring in electrical engineering, and that's an important part of being able to build devices and such. So she has become an expert in what all these things mean. In the inside of the first signature, I put the definition of biomedical engineering, which is primarily Izzy's field. Biomedical engineering, or BME, is the application of imaging principles and design concepts to medicine and biology for healthcare purposes. The field seeks to close the gap between engineering and medicine, and so forth. So, just, Izzy's my hero. She just gets it done at every turn. Did you hear about the neutron who was arrested? He was released without charge. There's a beaker charm from the lab. I also have various female engineers throughout. Lillian Gilbreth, she was one of the first female mechanical engineers, and she was also the mother that the story was based upon, Cheaper by the Dozen. She married a fellow, and combined they had 12 children, and the movie and the stories were based upon her home life. Pretty amazing that she was an engineer to boot. And I've included tabs with this fabulous, there's calculus and geometry and algebra formulas on here, and all of the really intense maths that they do in engineering. Funny chemistry puns always get a good reaction. I don't know about that. Cog's ready to throw me out of the house if I hit him with one more pun. He really has heard them all. There's a great painting of an alchemist. It's 1650 they date that painting too. I like this quote too. At that time, which was 1909, the chief engineer was almost always the chief test pilot as well. That had the fortunate result of eliminating poor engineering in early in aviation. And that's by Igor Sikorsky of the Sikorsky helicopter. I think he invented helicopters. I also really was excited. I have saved for a couple of years this washi tape that you can't get anymore from Tim Holtz, and it has the elements from the periodic table of elements. So I've got that here and there throughout. These are pictures of Dr. Gertrude Elion and Dr. Hitchings, the fellow. They won a Nobel Prize, and I cannot remember which year it was. Oh, here we go. I have a write-up. The Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1988. She invented various drug treatments for leukemia, gout, malaria, and so forth. All kinds of amazing viral treatments. And here is a stamp on a on a tag of, I assume this is various measurements for testing different types of nitrogen. I don't know the short way to describe that. And there's puns on the back. And here are more stamps on a tag. There's a formula here. And another laboratory stamp. These are the laboratory stamps from Tim Holt's set from quite a few years ago. And a guest check. With, of course, puns on the tag. Some more sorry. There's a charm here with the sun, which I just thought was appropriate for physics and light and things that engineers deal with. Who was the first electricity detective? Sherlock Holmes. Two kittens are on a roof. Which one falls off first? The one with the lowest mew. I had to ask Izzy what mew was, and of course she laughed. She thought that that was hysterical because she understands these things that all the bad puns are referencing. I only get about half of them. It's another fabulous Tim Holt stamp. And this picture of Dr. Agnew in the Agnew Clinic amphitheater where they were teaching the doctors things about surgery, late 1800s. Another piece of this engineering paper, and on the back, I won't take it out, these are cheat sheets. It's 4 sheets of paper that I tea-dyed, and it's got all of the scientific formulas that they recommend that you learn for the MCATs, which are the entrance exams to medical school here in the U.S. I assume they're U.S. based. Usually the other countries have their own entrance exams for grad school, but they recommend that these are the ones, and I thought it would be fun if I printed them off for her and tea-dyed them, stuck them in here. Here's another, this charm is so heavy, another math, science, history charm on the books. I'm resisting reading you these puns because, you know, I printed them, I've read them all, and I still laugh when I read them. It's a great picture of Tesla's laboratory and the Tesla coil that generated electricity seemingly out of nowhere. Hedy Lamarr, you might recognize her. She was a famous movie star. She developed this communications technology for the military that let them bounce signals, and that's where Bluetooth and Wi-Fi has been developed from. So a lot of people don't realize that she was a renowned engineer. It's a stamp of a beaker from a lab. Some really fun quotes through here from H.G. Wells and Leonardo da Vinci. There's another microscope charm. Here's another chemist. I love that one. A positron walks into a bar. The bartender explains they've run out of regular alcohol. The positron replies that it's no matter. Just more of everything, more periodic elements, stenciling, these math formula tabs. I was reading a book on helium. I just couldn't put it down. There's quotes here too by Dolph Lundgren, who was the actor in that Rocky fought in Rocky 4, and apparently he was a chemical engineer. And there are quite a few engineering quotes by him out there. Louis Pasteur, a portrait painted of him in his lab in 1885. And some more Tim Holtz laboratory stamps. Try to put relevant words on the dangles through here. One says daughter, the other one says life is wonderful. This is Thomas Edison's laboratory in Michigan. And I've got more puns and jokes here with little tabs on them stuffed into the pockets. I just love that color of the sari. Always a treat. Okay, and the third signature. Leonardo da Vinci, of course, was a renowned engineer, and his engineering sketches, they're actually in the public domain. They're very easy to find, his sketchbooks, and if you're into that kind of thing and really want to get your geek on, just Google Leonardo's da Vinci's engineering sketches, and the notebooks are all out there. Most of them have been digitalized online. This is Emily Roebling. I don't think I did a write-up on her in here. She was the wife of the engineer, Mr. Roebling. I forget his first name. He was the chief engineer of the Brooklyn Bridge and was injured and paralyzed while it was under construction. And she, also an engineer, stepped in for him and finished the Brooklyn Bridge, overseeing the engineering of it. So that was quite a thing to do back in the 1800s. They didn't really let women take the helm. More laboratory stamps. There's another doctor in his study, painting from 1675, they guesstimate. Another copy, tea-dyed copy of the circuit symbols. This is another charm of the atom. It's a molecule. I'm pretty sure it's molecules with atoms going. I feel so silly for not remembering. I bought the charms a while back. I'll have to look. What did the nuclear physicist have for lunch? Fish and chips. It's so bad. It's hilarious. It's what happens when you move to a solitary mountain. Love this picture of the Einsteins. Elsa, that was his wife. I'm pretty sure that was her name. Stephanie Kwolek, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name. She discovered the substance that led to Kevlar, which is also used in tires and fiber optics and many other things. Another famous engineer, female engineer. Mary Anderson engineered the windshield wiper. Sounds like something a woman would think up. Honey, I can't see out the windshield. We need something to wipe it away. Another picture of Tesla. I love this. Two blood cells met and fell in love. Alas, it was all in vain. Okay, I'm sure you're pretty glad at this point I'm to the end. This is Izzy and a friend of hers from her sorority at the first engineering gala at school. I always loved that picture. Fabulous dress. And there's Izzy, her first Christmas when she was doing rounds at the hospital with a couple of her fellow biomed friends. So that is Izzy's beautifully engineered journal, and I appreciate you popping in to take a look at it. When at some point I will end up doing a course on how I made the needle books that I've been making. I showed one of them, actually Wendy showed one of them, Wendy Connors Beckett, in a package that I sent for her for Christmas, and I'm not sure if my video on the other ones will be out before this or after this, but in the course with the needle books, I'll also make sure I take the time to show how I do a larger piecing together of these sari borders for regular journal covers. So if you're interested in that, I will direct you all to where to find that information. So thanks so much for popping in and letting me share this with you today, and I will be back with you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Staring at the stars for hours, 'cause you're